Hey guys, Dominic Savino here again for Sportscasters Central. Today's demo video is going to talk a little bit about the most important thing that any sportscaster will do before a broadcast, their prep work. Now call them broadcasting boards, spot charts, boards, whatever you want to call it. The preparation work that you do before a broadcast will define how good your broadcast is and define how good you are as a sportscaster. You have to put hours of prep in to make the boards as good as they can be, put as much information into those charts as possible, and the type of format and the layout that you use defines just how good they end up being, how effective you are at recalling info in the spur of a moment right during a game. So with the dog days of summer and summer ball coming up soon, we'll talk a little bit about broadcasting boards, keeping score during a baseball game that you're calling, and how you can find some different types of boards that'll work best for you during a broadcast. I've got a more simple and a more advanced type of board, a type of scorebook that we can look through, and I can show you what's good and what's not and suggest some tips that'll help you when you're prepping for your next baseball game. So let's check out the first one. This first basic scorecard that we're looking at right now came from the website for the Sportscaster Talent Agency of America, a great resource for young and old sportscasters alike. But it's a great example of what you can use as your first scorecard, your first board, if you're just getting into broadcasting baseball games. It's got everything you really need and has a very clean layout. It's got space for all 9 batters, runs, hits, errors, and left on base for every inning. It's also got a 6 deep spot for different pitchers, and you can include their full line here as well. You can tally up the batter's final stats right here. And up here in the top left corner, you can even include a defensive chart for the team playing in the field against this first team. It's a great basic example that you can use, and you can also fill the margins on either side and even the top a little bit with notes, which again is the most important part. What you're looking at right now is a completed scorecard from the Bob Carpenter Baseball Scorebook. Now, Bob Carpenter is a longtime baseball TV play-by-play broadcaster, and he currently calls games for the Washington Nationals on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. And he actually sells and produced his own scorebook that he sells to TV and radio broadcasters just to make sure his colleagues have something good to use. And you can see right off the bat that compared to the earlier one that we looked at, the more basic one, this is much more developed and has a lot more room for notes and more detail. And let's just take a look at this left side. This is actually a scorecard from a game that I called not too long ago, just a few weeks ago, between Rutgers and Penn State. I'm looking at the left side, and you see you've got space for all 9 batters. You also have extra room to put notes about each batter or to put who the substitutes are. You've got space for 15 innings as well in case those games go into extra innings. But some other notes that you didn't see in the earlier scorecard, you've got space to put in the pitcher. So Sal Biasi, the pitcher for Penn State, is written right here, and you have space to add some notes about him if you'd like. You've got space to put the bench for Penn State. You've also got space to put the Rutgers pitchers and Rutgers bullpen, the opposing pitchers and bullpen, on the same side of the scorecard as the Penn State, as the team they're pitching against. You also have space to put a complete defensive alignment from the opposing team as well. So it makes it very easy when this guy hits it to this guy, and you can read their names right off the same side of the scorecard. Now, looking at some other places for notes here in the Bob Carpenter Baseball Scorebook, you see right here I have enough space to put the standings for the Big Ten at the time of the game. You can also use the other one as space to put extra notes. You've got a huge space to put notes here. You can put some stuff in there where the umpires are. You've got space along the margins all the way around. You even have space to put detailed records from every different type of breakdown, whether it's last 10, the streaks that the teams are on, their neutral site records, very detailed things that you weren't able to do in the more basic one that we saw earlier. And like I said earlier, I own the Bob Carpenter Baseball Scorebook. I own a copy, and I use it for every single baseball broadcast that I do. Now, sometimes I make it less detailed and keep notes on the side, but what you're seeing right here is about the consummate, the best scorebook that you can buy if you're a baseball broadcaster. It's got so much space for notes. You can get very detailed, lots of space to put in 15 innings worth of baseball, space to put in 7 pitchers. There's just so much extra stuff that you can do with this. And if you're serious about sportscasting, if you really want to pursue this for a living, I encourage you to pick up a Bob Carpenter Baseball Scorebook. So we got to check out a basic and a more detailed scorecard. I would suggest you check out both, try out both, whether it's a mock broadcast or a real one, see which one you like more. Still, I would encourage you that if you want to do this for a living, if you want to be a baseball sportscaster and you want to call baseball games for a living, go buy a copy of the Bob Carpenter Baseball Scorebook right now. It'll allow you to prepare in the most detailed way and have the best baseball broadcast that you can have and really become a pro sportscaster. Also, while we're on the topic of baseball preparation and things like that, I'd encourage you to pick up a copy of the Baseball Thesaurus by Jesse Goldberg Strassler. He's a minor league baseball broadcaster working his way up to the pros, and he's written 300 pages worth of other terms for common baseball terms, everywhere from All-Star to World Series, everything in between. It's a good way to help you vary your vocabulary and become a great baseball broadcaster like the ones you see on TV, call your favorite MLB teams ball games. Well, thank you so much for checking out this demo video here on Sportscaster Central. Next week we'll have a video coming up about football prep and football broadcast boards. I know fall is still a couple months away. Never too early to start thinking about the gridiron though. So thank you so much for checking it out. If you want to look at the boards we looked at in this video, go down towards the text below right here. And for Sportscaster Central, I'm Dominic Savino.